Welcome to my channel, USA Battle Zone. It ends with a like, comment and subscribe closing, and has no headings. All emotion, all atmosphere, all storytelling. Welcome to my channel, USA Battle Zone, where courage, resilience, and the truth behind a uniform take center stage. Tonight, I bring you a story many will never hear, a story of pride, respect, and the lesson that not every warrior wears their medals on their chest. Some carry them quietly, like shadows carved into the soul. The night was young, and neon lights spilled across the crowded street outside a San Diego military bar, a favorite hangout for Marines fresh off duty. Friday had rolled in with electric heat, music thundering from club speakers like the heartbeat of the city. Leather jackets, high and tight fades, loud laughter, all part of the weekend ritual. Inside the club, a group of young Marines pushed through the doors, adrenaline high, uniforms crisp from inspection earlier that day. They'd earned their weekend, earned the right to unwind after weeks of relentless drills, PT sessions, and live fire exercises. Their confidence radiated through the room like a flame. Among them stood Corporal Mason Hale, tall, broad-shouldered, brimming with that raw 22-year-old fire that believed he knew the world. His buddy, Lance Corporal Ortiz, lean and restless, nudged his arm. Tonight, Ortiz shouted over the music, "We own this place." Mason smirked, lifting a glass. "Damn right we do." They moved through the crowd like they belonged to it, because in their minds, they did. The Marine Corps gave them purpose, strength, discipline. And after months training for deployment, that high-strung intensity needed an outlet. That was when they noticed her. She sat alone at the bar. Short black hair neat and sharp, posture relaxed but upright, wearing a simple navy blue blouse tucked into black slacks. No uniform, no ribbons, just a woman in her early 40s, calm, composed, watching the dance floor like a general surveying a battlefield. She didn't move with the jitter of nightlife energy. She didn't sway, didn't indulge in chaos. She simply observed. Mason leaned close to Ortiz. "Civilian," he guessed. "Looks lost." The boys laughed, elbowing each other as they approached her. None of them knew, not yet, that the woman before them was Admiral Rebecca Hale, commander of Pacific Fleet Operations, one of the highest leaders in the United States Navy. A woman who commanded destroyers, submarines, intelligence networks, and strategic defense lines stretching across half the Earth's water. But she wasn't there tonight as an admiral. She was there as a person, a sister visiting her hometown, slipping quietly through the city to breathe like she used to before the world placed stars on her shoulders. And none of the Marines recognized her. Mason tapped her shoulder. "Ma'am, this section's for active personnel. You might be more comfortable in the lounge area." Her dark eyes lifted slowly to meet his, steady, unwavering, like the ocean before a storm. "I'm comfortable here," she replied softly. Ortiz raised a brow. "You sure? Gets rough around this part of the bar. Wouldn't want a civilian getting hurt." Her lips quirked, not quite a smile. "I can take care of myself." They didn't hear the steel beneath those words. "Come on," Mason insisted, placing his hand lightly on her shoulder to guide her aside. In one fluid motion, faster than any of them could register, her hand wrapped around his wrist. Not aggressive, not painful, just unshakably controlled, a demonstration. Her gaze sharpened. "Son," she said quietly, "you don't want to do that." The Marines froze, confusion flickering. She released him without force, just a warning delivered through professionalism, not arrogance. Hale frowned, pride stung. "With all respect, you're in Marine territory. You don't get to come in and take a seat like you." He never finished, because the club doors opened with a rush of cold air, and 4 sailors walked in wearing crisp navy dress uniforms, gold stripes shining, ribbons reflecting club lights. At their center was Rear Admiral Calloway, 1 star visible on each collar. He spotted the woman instantly. Officers parted like water around him as he approached the bar. "Admiral Hale, ma'am," he said, coming to attention. "Apologies for the delay. Security detail is staged outside." Every Marine within earshot froze. Mason's breath locked in his chest. Ortiz blinked hard, as if reality flickered. "Admiral, Pacific Fleet Command." The woman they tried to escort was one of the most powerful military leaders in the Navy, perhaps in the entire U.S. Armed Forces. The entire club seemed to exhale. Conversation halted. Music felt distant. Respect, immediate, heavy, filled the space like thunderclouds. The Marines snapped straight, backs rigid. Mason's voice strained. "Ma'am, I didn't know." She looked at him, not angry, not offended, just steady, like she had seen 1,000 young men learning humility the hard way. "I know you didn't," she said. "But rank isn't why you should treat someone with respect." He swallowed hard. "Yes, ma'am." Her tone softened, though her presence remained larger than the room. "Strength isn't proven by how loud you stand. It's proven by knowing when to stand down." The words hit deeper than a reprimand. Not humiliation. Education. Hale nodded slowly, shame melting into something new, admiration. "Ma'am, may I ask, who did you serve under? How did you get here?" For the first time that night, her gaze drifted, not backward, but inward, into memories built on steel decks under foreign stars. She spoke quietly, voice steady like a tide rolling in. "I entered the Navy at 19. No medals, no name, just determination. I stood on flight decks where salt burned like truth and the wind carried jet fire. I watched sailors climb from nothing, and I watched some never return. Every stripe I earned came with sacrifice, and every star came with ghosts. Command isn't glory, it's burden. It's responsibility for lives, oceans, and peace most people will never see." The club listened like church. No music, no chatter, just history unfolding in her voice. "I rose," she continued. "Not by force, not by demanding respect, but by proving I deserved it. Every mission, every storm, every battle, leadership isn't given, it's lived." A Marine at the back whispered, "Damn." Mason felt his throat tighten. He had joined the Corps for pride, for identity, but listening to her, he realized leadership was more than toughness. It was weight carried in silence. He lowered his head. "Admiral, I owe you an apology." She placed a hand on his shoulder, not to correct, but to absolve. "Son, you owe that apology to yourself. You're a Marine. Act like one not just when people outrank you, but always." His eyes burned. That was the moment everything changed. The music returned, softer now. The club breathed again, but the Marines no longer moved with swagger, now they moved with understanding. The Admiral remained only a moment longer. A quiet sip of water. A small nod of respect. Then she stood to leave. As she passed the Marines, they stepped aside, not out of fear, but out of earned reverence. Mason called after her, "Ma'am, permission to speak freely." She paused. "You walked in alone. No rank shown, no authority displayed. Why?" Her reply was gentle, like waves on a quiet shore. "Because strength doesn't need to announce itself. And, because sometimes, it's good to remind young warriors that every stranger might carry a story greater than we can see." Then she left, disappearing into the night like a ship sliding into deep waters, silent, powerful, unstoppable. And the club never forgot the lesson that walked through its doors. No one bragged about toughness that night. No one mocked a stranger's presence. Respect became the language. Weeks later, Mason deployed to the Pacific. On a distant ship deck at sunrise, he thought of her, of the weight she carried, of the stars she bore, of the oceans she guarded. And he vowed to lead with honor, not ego. Because greatness is quiet, power is humble, and strength needs no announcement. This was the night the Marines pushed her in the club, unaware she commanded the Pacific Fleet. But by dawn, they walked away better men than before. And sometimes, that is the victory that matters most. If this story moved your heart, if it reminded you of humility, of leadership, of respect, then don't leave just yet. Like, comment and subscribe for more powerful military stories that change the way we see the world. This is USA Battle Zone, signing off, until the next mission.